it's so funny because my maple guy is like, meet me in the parking lot over here. And then he gives me like
he's giving you blocks of cheese. That right there is why we have a podcast called So New England, because only in Vermont is your dealer for cheese and bread and eggs and nice good fresh Vermont maple syrup in the parking lot of an LL Bean,
the Abushan hardware parking lot.
From Maine's cold coast to Connecticut pride, Vermont's green hills take it all in stride. Massachusetts traffic we grip and we grind with a Dunkin' iced coffee and no peace of mind. So New England stands up proud. Shouters think we shout it loud. From Fenway Chance to Rhode Island tide, New Hampshire's cry, live free or die. So New England with Ian Brownhill.
Good friggin' morning from New England, folks. Welcome back to episode 79 of the So New England podcast. We are virtual today. You guys know me. I'm Ian Brownhill, co-host RJ Travisano in the comfort of his own home today. Vinny Chen's behind the camera, looking handsome as always. And of course, guys, we go out of our way. We look high and low. We search the trenches. We search the skies. We do everything we can to get you the very, very best guests that New England has got to offer. And today leaves no stone unturned. RJ, please tell us who our guest is today.
Yeah, buddy. Our guest today may have one of the, if not the coolest nicknames, handles, whatever we're calling it these days, we have had to date. She comes to us from a busy day on the slopes, or maybe just out there putting feet to the world, running till her heart contents. Or honestly, probably both, because that's just how she rolls. With her 175,000 followers, she came to the pod to share her love for New England, especially Vermont. One of one, two, maybe even the third. We don't even know. We are so ready for it. It is my pleasure to introduce the Myrna Motivator.
I love it. You have such a contagious laugh. I can't wait to hear it this whole episode.
There's a lot of giggling. I apologize in advance.
No, giggle away. We love that here.
Heck yeah.
Myrna, thank you so much for your time today. We know you're out in Colorado and you're digging up on those slopes, so pretty jealous, but not too jealous. We had 50 and sunny today here in Little Rhodey, so we're enjoying it in two different capacities, although I do love hitting the slopes. How is it out there?
It's really great. It's spring skiing already here. As you probably know, they have not had as much snow as we have had in the Northeast. And but they finally got some, I guess last week, and it's pretty nice. Not as nice as skiing in Vermont. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
Take off the rip. We love that.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. And we got our first hot take. That's the way to do it.
Amazing. Well, the short of this is we would love to hear your story, because I'm sure you've got there's probably so much to share. I know that you're from Brooklyn originally and you migrated your way up to Vermont. And even as I go through, I'm still a pretty new follower. I think it's been about a couple months now, but I've been on the bandwagon ever since. I love seeing all of the amazing initiatives you have, the hiking, the biking, the skiing. Are you swimming too? I'm sure you do all of it. I mean, you're ultra runner.
I am a black person that swims. Yes.
Yeah. I love it, but I got to hear the story. How did you end up in Vermont? How did this all come to life?
Okay. All right. So as you already mentioned, I am from Brooklyn, New York originally, but I haven't lived there for a long time. I was a teacher for 18 years up until the year 2018. In 2008, I had this health scare where I thought I was having a heart attack while I was teaching at a boarding school. And that kind of got me back into running and really taking care of myself physically, mentally, for not just for myself, but for my son. I have a son who is 22, very tall. He plays basketball. As he's in college. He's smart too.
Yes, I love that.
But anyway, so after that health scare, I really got back into running. I had been a high school athlete. I played field hockey and lacrosse, and not in Brooklyn though. I went to school in the suburbs, and so I started this blog as I was sort of healing from this health scare and other things that were happening in my body, and also like just with my level of stress and fatigue. I started this blog called Fat Girl Running, because I'm fat and I run, and I wanted to really talk about what it was like to be a fat Black girl running doing endurance sports in a field of much thinner, much whiter, not wider as in like wide, but white, like you guys, much whiter people. And that got the attention of Wall Street Journal, Runner's World. They did a feature on me in 2015, and then my world just started exploding as I'm still trying to teach. I'm a classically trained musician, so I was teaching music, I was teaching Spanish, AP Spanish. I was directing equity and inclusion initiatives at the schools that I taught at. I was coaching cross country, doing all these things, and but I was suddenly confronted with all of these amazing things like sponsorships. Hey, Merrill, a company like Merrill reached out. We'd love to sponsor you. We'd love to have you come out and do some races. We'd love to give you free clothes and free shoes. And I was like, yeah, bro, yes, yes.
Yeah,
we want you to be an ambassador. And then, and then I'm on the news because, the story is that I'm this fat Black woman who does endurance racing, and it's kind of still a story. And so I was on CNN. I was on a couple of TV programs, and in 2018, I decided to leave teaching. I was at that point teaching in Georgia because I had always wanted to live in the mountains, and so here I am in Georgia, North Georgia, living in the mountains, and I decided to leave school. And I now have free reign of wherever I want to go. I go back home to New York, and I'm sleeping on the couch at my parents'. I'm like, you know what? I use my body for work, not in that way, but I use my body for work. I want to make sure that I can be rested and like go do my races, because now I'm sponsored by running companies. I'm sponsored by shoe companies. I have all these other sponsors, and I have to make sure that I can do the job. And so I was looking in Jersey to go live in Jersey. I had lived in Jersey, which I loved, but it wasn't for me after having left it and being away from it for a couple of years. And so my friend invites me up to Vermont for a winter adventure. And I had been to Vermont many times in the summertime doing races, but I'd never been up there in the winter. And so I decided to go up there, and I stayed in Montpelier, the capital of Vermont. And the one that has no McDonald's.
Count me out. Not going.
But it's right outside the city line. So I go up there, and it's like 4 feet of snow already. It's December of 2018. We do a snowboarding lesson at Bolton Valley. We hiked up Mount Hunger, in snowshoes. We did all of this cool cold weather stuff, and I am a cold weather fan. I love the snow. I love the cold. I love blizzards. The ones that we just had, I love them. I know,
that makes one of us.
Yep.
I know the streets weren't. I know. It's not your last video. And I loved it. And so one of the things that just kind of sealed the deal for me as far as moving up to Vermont was I got up. I was staying at this hotel in Montpelier, and the inn at Montpelier, which sounds fancy, but it is not. Anyway, so I get up to go to the bathroom, 4:00 in the morning. I look out the window. There are people running. They're not running like from their houses to their cars or from their cars to their houses. They're running for exercise. And I'm like, these are my people. And I was like, I think I belong here. And then a couple of days later, I am like walking out of that same hotel, and a guy passes by me, and I wait so that he can pass. And so I start walking in the same direction. And he goes, hey, we're walking in the same direction. Why don't we walk together and just have a conversation? And I'm like, it's not very New York of me, but okay. And so we have a conversation. He's like, where are you going? Well, I'm trying to find a liquor store. And he's like, well, that's where I'm going. And so, so we have a great walk and talk. We end up at the liquor store. And then at the end of that week, that wasn't the thing that sealed the deal though. But I really love that spirit of, why don't we just talk? We're out here on the sidewalk together. Why don't we just talk and have a conversation? And that kind of really drew me into that community. And I ended up signing a lease that week because I was only there for a week, and then moving in the next month. And I've been there since 2019. Yeah. And then I bought property because I'm not leaving.
I love that for you. And so how many years has it been then total?
It's been 7 years.
Wow, 7 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I feel like, I don't know what the cusp is for an adopted New Englander, but let's say that I think 5 years is pretty solid, especially if you're buying a property, because that means you're here to stay. And I love that for you.
And I think the fact that you're not leaving, your quote, also amplifies that you're a New Englander.
Yes.
Sure.
And I love that that's a story because I find it very intriguing how, as a New Yorker, your experience is talking with a stranger in New England, which is, the stereotypes are what they are in most cases. But in that one, it's like that really breaks the mold to say like, hey, it's actually not that bad. You can be from New York and from New England and get along. But I also think that you had the lucky charm in Vermont. They're definitely the nicest of the New England states.
Absolutely.
They're the nicest, I think, but they don't smile a whole lot. And so that's something that I had to get used to because, I haven't lived in New York for a long time, and I've lived in Georgia where everyone's smiling and saying bless your heart, and you wave at people in the car, and if you don't, you hear about it from your neighbor the next day. And so, I don't think Vermonters smile a whole lot. And my joke has been that it's so cold that they don't want their lips to get cracked. And that's why they don't smile. But they're very kind people. It's true.
I love that. That's actually a really, really good take on that.
What would you say was the hardest thing to learn growing up?
Probably learning how to use, save, or spend money.
You legit worked in banking, did you not?
You're welcome.
Are you still with Dime Bank, or are you too Hollywood now?
Okay, rude, but yes, I am.
Imagine your followers finding out you're with a Connecticut-based bank.
Okay, first of all, they have a branch in Wesley, Rhode Island, which is where we grew up. So really, that's brownie points because I'm sticking to my roots. Second, I think everyone would appreciate that I'm with a bank that knows and understands their community. Their tagline is legit, community banking lives here.
Hey, I'm not asking you to sell me on it. I've been banking with them for years, and they know me on a first-name basis. I'm just saying, I'm surprised is all. I can see the headlines now. Mr. Anti-Connecticut actually banks with local community bank?
Okay, you know what? Follow along with me here. They're FDIC insured, equal housing lenders, wicked friendly. They take care of all my personal needs, have expansive products to help all my businesses, offer lending across the board, merchant services. What more could I possibly want or need? And you know that I secretly like Connecticut, so.
Oh, I hope you heard that, folks. Dime Bank is the reason Ian loves Connecticut.
Okay, you're ridiculous. Funny story, though. You know how they have the mobile app with banking, Lifesaver, you can do all the deposits. Have you tried to teach your mom how to do the mobile deposit
No.
yet? I was teaching my mom how to do it, and she takes a selfie instead of the check. Visit dimebank.com to learn more. So I'd love to kind of dive into your mind as far as the transition from becoming, an educator for so many years to the transition of becoming an influencer / ultra marathon / multifaceted athlete, because I'm sure there's a lot of correlations between the discipline it takes to be an educator and molding young minds, but also, you kind of go from a classroom filled where you're talking to everyone to in the middle of a desert and 100-mile run when it's 90 degrees. And the only person you're talking to is yourself. And you're trying to convince yourself to stick with it and keep running. So I would love to kind of hear what that was like in the transition and how that kind of felt for you.
Well, first of all, that's a great question. And also, we don't say influencer around here. We say content creator.
Content creator, yes.
Or
absolutely.
possibility model. Okay. I like the possibility model.
I got to add that to my repertoire because I say content creator. I'm I'm 34 years old, so I'm not influencing nobody, all right? I make content.
I'm 50, okay? I'm not influencing
I can't believe that.
either.
I mean, I didn't want to point it out, but when you said you're a 22-year-old, I'm like, there's no way. I look way older than you. Oh my gosh. Girl, you're crushing it.
We're going to need a birth
thank
certificate.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, the transition wasn't actually that hard from from education to what I do now, because I still do a lot of educating. I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of workshopping in many of the same areas that I did when I was a teacher. Because I used to train my faculty in areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know that's, people don't want to say that anymore, but that's what my experience is in. And so I actually do a lot of that for outdoor brands. I've trained employees in Nike and Burton snowboards and in many other outdoor brands. And so that was almost no transition. I was always crazy when I was teaching, and I was always traveling, and I was always doing stuff. And, I was one of those, not a great teacher, but I was one of the popular teachers. And so kids would just stop by my room, and it was like life lessons in Spanish,
Yeah.
life lessons in classical music, and it was really cool to be able to actually have them see what they called my glow up. And then, and then be running all these races. And some of them even came to some of the races with me. Many of my cross country athletes, they saw me doing Tough Mudders and things, and 5Ks and 10Ks. And they'd be like, "Hey, Miss Valerio, can we go with you?" And I'm like, yeah. And that's how that started. So really the only transition that I think is notable, there too. My time is not very structured.
Yes,
And
it's tough.
so that's hard. And for somebody who was very distractible and whose brain is all over the place and who wants to do everything and be everywhere all the time, it's hard. But so there's that. And then also not having benefits, right? Not having
Two very hard things to deal
monthly
with.
salary. Exactly.
Right.
And so, but I've been able to collect a number of people and professionals who help me with those things, and so that's been really cool. I can't do anything without my CPAs. I can't, I have a business manager. I have people that help me do these things, but I still get to kind of do the same things. I feel like as a teacher, I was inspiring my students not just to learn, but to be good human beings and to take care of each other. And that's what I do in my work now. I just get to do it in sports. I get to do it in skiing. I get to do it in trail running. I get to do it in, what's the other thing I do? Cycling. I haven't yet broken into the swimming space yet, but when you do, the triathletes come after you. They're like, "Have you met our Lord and Savior triathlon?" And I'm like, "You know what? Can I just swim?" And so, so it's been a really cool thing. And here's a really cool story. One of the students at the last school that I taught at in Georgia, his name is Chris Davis. He wasn't one of my actual students. He didn't take Spanish or music, and he wasn't one of my athletes. But I knew him because he was a black kid, and I knew all the black kids at the school. It was a fancy boarding school in down in Georgia, with not a lot of black kids in it. So I'm sitting at my desk and having this conversation. Should I stay here as a teacher? Should I leave? Because I have all of these opportunities, but here's the safety net that I have. I have a great, beautiful house that looks at the mountains. My kid's in the same school. It's a really good life that I'm living, but there's this other stuff that I've never been able to do. And so I'm having this conversation, drinking my Starbucks at my desk. And this kid comes into my room. He's like, "Hey, Miss Valerio." And I'm like, "Hey, Chris." And I'm thinking, I have to go confront a teacher or another student for saying something, bad to him. And I'm like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" He goes,
Yeah.
"No, he's like, I just came to say I love you." And I was like, wow, because I wasn't expecting that. And then I am never speechless, right? I can talk at a person for 5 hours without breathing. And I'm like, wow, thank you for saying that. He's like, "Well, I also came to say this. And I wanted to say that I don't think you belong here." And I was like, "Come again?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Miss Valerio," he was the one that brought up the glow up. He's like, "I've been watching you. I've been watching your glow up. And I think your star is rising and you have to go follow it." And that, talking about sealing the deal, that was one of the things that sort of propelled me to then call my head of school and say, I called him then and there, and then I went downstairs to see him, and he says, I know what this is about already. This has been great. This has been great to watch this happen in real time. It's been so educational for the students. It's been so like unreal to watch. The kids started calling me Hollywood and Gucci as well. So, hey, Hollywood, let me get some
that.
Nike, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then I left that June and started doing all the things that I do now. And so it's been really cool. And to actually have found Vermont, or like, I think Vermont called me home. I think that's what it was. And to have found that community in Montpelier. Now I live right outside of Burlington. And to have like bought a property, and that whole experience was magical. It fills my cup in so many different ways. And my family from Brooklyn, they love Vermont. They love coming up,
Yes.
and enjoying the
that's great.
cold and the and walking on the property, and like, you can tell that their shoulders just kind of relax when they step off the train, or they step off the, I meet them at the airport, and it's just the perfect place for me to be.
That is such a beautiful, powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
I love hearing the success stories. I love hearing those moments in life where things kind of just happen in perfect uniform for you. And it's just like, it's like that very cheesy feeling, like the entrance of The Simpsons, where it's like the clouds just part and it's just, ah.
So that's exactly what it's been like.
That's so beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I think my follow-up question to all of this then would be, was running the first like exercise that you really started getting into? Like, what was the pattern of habitual exercise that got you to be like, I want to do this at extreme levels and I want to motivate others? Because obviously, like, I understand, how you started, but I guess it's more like,
right.
When was it that you were like, oh, like this could be like a thing that I do every day, all the time, and start to motivate others with? Because that's, when you're doing it for yourself, it's not easy, but it's a little bit easier than saying, not only am I going to do this for myself and step out of my comfort zone, but I'm also going to vulnerably allow others to see me doing it, in the hopes that it builds a community around people that can feel safe and strong to also try this with me.
Yeah. So I would say, like in 2008, when I had that health scare, because I went to the cardiologist and he asked me if I wanted to see my son grow up. And at that point, my son was 5. And I, again, not a person who is ever speechless. It was like, well, yeah. And that was the moment that I said, I have to return to something, because I hadn't run in about 3.5 years. And because I had, run on and off. And then, so I get back on my treadmill. This is July or August of 2008. And I'm done. I'm in grad school. I'm, full-time teacher. I drive back and forth from Maryland to New Jersey and back to teach piano lessons, voice lessons, and all these other things. And like, I really stressed myself out. So like, I had to change something. So I get back on my treadmill and I'm like, well, this is where I'm starting. I can't really look back, because there's no value in that, but I can definitely be here in the moment, and I can look forward. And so I started running on a treadmill. And I knew running. I had been running since high school, and I knew that it was going to be hard, and I knew that it was going to be painful, and I knew that it would not feel good for another couple weeks. And so I kept at it. I would run 1 mile and be disappointed, but then I would run again. That's the hallmark of an endurance athlete. I'd be disappointed, so I did it again. I'd be disappointed, so I did more miles. And so that's how that happened. And so like, I started running. I was a dorm parent in a boarding school. So I would run in my dorm office. And then when it got warmer, it was warm. So when school started, I would run out. I would run in the morning on my treadmill, and then I'd run outside after school. And people started noticing. The students started noticing, that my colleagues started noticing. And both students and colleagues, asked me if they could come run with me. And I'd be like, I'm really slow. Like, oh, we just want to run. We see you running all the time. I'm looking out the window at 6:00 and there's Miss Valerio running around the quad. And, and, and I want to do that. And that's how that started. That's how the name the Myrnavator came about. My colleagues said, well, you motivate us so much, we're going to call you the Myrnavator. And that it's a corny story, but that's how that came about. And I'm like, I'm corny. I like it.
That's amazing. That's an amazing origin story. That's so cool. Because I didn't think of that at all. But that's even cooler because I was thinking like the Terminator. But
no, it was motivated.
That's
Motivator.
Way cooler. Love that.
I love it.
Yeah. And so, and that's how that happened. And those same students, and this is a different school from my Georgia school. Hey, can we know you do 5Ks on the weekends. Can we join you? And then they asked me to be a coach. Hey, Myrna, you want to make some money? I see you run and take a couple of girls with you and you can be a coach and, you can make $1,500 extra. And I was like,
there you go.
I could use $1,500 extra. I'm going to go run anyway. And it just started this amazing thing at the end of that first season. We're like, running on some dirt road in New Jersey because we're in central New Jersey, like with horse country and whatnot. And I get these girls, and these are girls that have a lot of social anxiety. They have a lot of, balance issues, and they're not coordinated. So they stuck them with me, and we had a blast. And our last run of that season, I had those girls do 9 miles, and each and every one of those girls had never ever done anything that hard before, and I got the benefit of seeing that. Of course they were proud of themselves, but I was like to watch the growth and the confidence happen, that was really cool. And so yeah, that was how that happened, and it keeps happening. I'll be out even now, many years later now, like I'll be skiing or running or and putting my stuff on social media, and people say to me, I didn't even know that a person my age, my size, my gender, from my origin could like run in the woods. I didn't think that somebody like me could, or somebody at my age could start skiing. And that has been the tenor of all of those sorts of, things we call inspirational. It's representation. Like they see me, and I don't necessarily do it for other people. Well, now I do, but, I do it for myself primarily, but like the side benefit is that other people get to see it happening in real time.
Right.
And that allows them to dream. It allows them to think of what their own potential is. And that I think is really cool.
That shows the genuine nature in you too. Cause I apologize for the minor technical issue. You were talking about how you had a different relationship with your kids as a teacher than your typical. And don't get me wrong, we'll all talk and say the same things. Teachers are unsung heroes of the world. But if you ask any of our guys, Ian will say the same thing. There were certain teachers that when you felt like they got you, you gravitated to them and you remember them. Like I had tons of great teachers. I had tons of great professors in college, but the ones that actually treated me like a human and had conversations with me or got to know me, or, hey, I'm going to be at the football game Friday night. Make sure you show out for me. Little things like that. And I think that's where it comes into play, because you were that teacher. You were the teacher where like, I don't even have you, but I'm just here hanging out. It was good to see you, Ms. V. Let's go for this run now. Oh my goodness.
Oh my, that's exactly. Were you in my class?
I was that kid. I would find, because like I was a decent student. I wasn't anything crazy, but like I had teachers where if they were good to me and just showed me that love, I was like, I need to be with you now. I need to hang out. I'm here.
And just hang out in their class while they're teaching another class that you're not in.
100%. 100%.
That was me. I was a kid that got kicked out of the one class and went to the class with the teacher that liked me, that would let me hang out.
Oh my goodness.
In between periods.
It happens. It happened everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
But it was so, that was, I think, the coolest part of teaching. Sure. Like I loved teaching Spanish, and I loved, being the choir director and the musical director. I loved all that stuff because you get to see kids in, different sorts of parts of their lives. But when they come, when they're supposed to be in another class and they come and sit in your class and do your work,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do your work, Miss Valerio. And they also did call me Miss V. And that's cool. And, actually 2 weeks ago, I skied with a former student of mine.
How fun.
Now we do it every
that's
year.
great.
And I'm friends with my own teachers I did go to boarding school. I was very fortunate to get scholarships to go to boarding school. And I'm friends with those teachers. And, I go visit them. They visit me. And because those people were important just to me as human beings and also in the trajectory of my life and what I do now. And I keep in touch with a lot of my students. Some of them are never going to change. They'll say, Miss Valerio, they'll comment on a video of mine. Have you ever heard of chapstick? And I'm like, really?
And now they know that you see their comments.
That's great. Love that.
Oh, what a fun friendly
class.
fire there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's great.
All right. So then I guess the follow-up question again to all of this, because it's just so profound, and I'm loving hearing every moment of it, is what is the motivation for you? What motivates you to keep going? And maybe motivation isn't the word, but I'd love to kind of get a little bit of understanding of that inner dialogue for you that keeps the train going down the tracks every day.
Motivation is fleeting. And ephemeral. And so for right now, it's more routine. I do need some motivation to do my running workouts now because it's ski season. But I've got a race in Mexico next month. This month, at the end of this month. And so
welcome to March. Sorry, the year's flying by.
I'm like, I don't even know what year it is anymore. But yeah, so I've got to, it's number one, it's work for me. That's my job now. And so I've got to do it. And then, even when I'm not motivated or I don't feel like it, I step on my treadmill or I, when the snow is gone, I'll be back on the trails outside, something changes. When I put my clothes on, when I put my sneakers on, something changes. It changes the vibe. It changes my attitude, my mindset. And that's not motivation. That is habit and it's routine. You can be motivated or inspired by people, but once you set a routine and you see the impact that routine has on your life, that is what keeps me going. It keeps me going. And also I want to be outside all the time. I want to ski all the time. I've gotten so much enjoyment and beauty in my life, not just from trail running and cycling, but skiing. Now it's my favorite sport.
Yeah.
Trail running pays the bills. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to be sponsored by Lululemon. And
so
I mean, can you I've got my Swiftly Tech shirt on now. But and I get to interface with so many different people, and I get to see people on the trails. I get to see people on the slopes. And again, knowing that I have an impact on other people, that also keeps me going, and that they're getting something out of seeing me and then doing something for themselves that maybe they thought they could never do. That keeps me going. And also for example, in skiing, my mom, who just had a birthday, she's in her 60s. She says, I have never been interested in skiing, but I want to learn now. Because I see that you are having such a good time. You can see the joy. You can see the happiness. I might fall. I'm like, yeah, you're going to fall because we all fall. If you're not falling, you're not skiing, right? That's what they say.
That's right.
And, but she is willing to put herself out there, to be in a physically and emotionally vulnerable place because she has seen the joy that I get out of it. And so that's what I want for everyone.
That's awesome. Amazing. Fellas, let me talk to you for a second, man. Look, it's 2026 and you're not feeling like yourself lately. I get it, but it's time to do something about it. You got low energy, you're having bad workouts, you can't seem to focus. You are not alone. And trying to figure it out in today's medical world, hell, it can feel like a total hamster wheel. That's why we at the So New England podcast are wicked excited to be partnering with Game Day Men's Health. Now, here's a few fun facts. Your initial consult and lab work are completely free. And most of the results are done right in-house in about 15, 20 minutes. It's a medical office built specifically for men with licensed professionals who actually give a damn and explain what's going on so that they can create a real game plan for you. They offer testosterone optimization, peptides, yes, there it is, buzzword from socials, I know you're seeing it everywhere, peptides, ED solutions, because fellas, there ain't no shame in the game, baby, and more. All completely personalized to you, which was me and the fellas' favorite part. Check out one of their locations in Garden City, Cranston, or Wayland Square right in Providence. Quick, easy, professional, and we cannot recommend them enough. Check out the video on our socials of our personal experience if you'd like, so you can kind of see what it looks like firsthand. Because me and the fellas, we all got our blood work done, and we're now all on our own customized plan right from Game Days Men's Health. So what are you waiting for? Take control of your health today, boys. GameDayMen'sHealth.com and book your appointment today. And now you did the running first, but how did the biking and the snowshoeing, how did all that come into the picture? Was that just kind of like, my feet hurt from running, let me try something else? Or was there intent behind that for a competitive reason?
So 2020 rolls around. I am on a hike in Mass somewhere. It was the Cobbles hike. And
yes.
And I did something to my knee. I was hiking. I wasn't even running. You know, especially as a fat person, I always get, you're going to ruin your knees. They're probably already ruined. You know, you ruined your back. You should just go on a diet. So I get that all the time. So like, I'm just on a hike with my business manager and her wife. And it's a really fairly tame hike. And I do something to my knee. And that night my leg swells up. I'm not in pain. And I'm like, oh no, what is happening? And I have these two Vermonter friends, and they're the reason that I moved up to Vermont. They were the ones that I was adventuring with on that first week that I came here. And they said, you're not allowed to come to our house unless you go to the doctor and check out and like get that knee checked out. Cause I was like, I'm fine. I can run.
Of course.
And then it turns out that I have a torn meniscus.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, great. So I do PT, and then that's not enough. But I mean, it wasn't painful, but it was just weird and unstable. Yeah. And so I finally have to get the surgery. And so I get the surgery, and it takes me a very long time to recover. And my coach, who I love, and he is in Idaho, right? And so he just calls me without texting beforehand. I don't like that. Anyway, so he says, you know, you're gonna have to get on a bike if you want to continue to train at the level that you were training. And so I said no. I don't want to be on a bike because I'm not a cyclist.
Thanks for the suggestion, but no.
And
set.
So
see, you were a New Englander then. That's so
yes,
New England.
You already
right
had the New
there.
England attitude.
That is the New England answer. How about no?
I don't think so. Next. And so, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know, he's right. And this guy, my coach, has never, ever been wrong, ever. Anything that he tells me to do, he's like a beautiful mind, but for running, you know? And I don't know if he'll appreciate me saying that, but anyway, he's not going to listen to this. But
I'm going to send it to him personally.
Yeah, we're going to cut that clip and mail it to him.
So I actually have a bike shop right across the parking lot from where I'm living in Montpelier at this point. I go over there. They know who I am. They know all the sports that I do and stuff. And I said, hey, guys, I need a bike. My coach told me I have to be riding a bike. So they say, here, take this Salsa Cycles bike. I'm like, oh, you know, don't you have a Specialized? Salsa ends up being my bike sponsor, right? And I didn't know jack shit about bikes. But I had heard of Specialized bikes. And so anyway, so like they actually let me borrow this bike for as long as I wanted to. And I said, well, can I buy it? They're like, there's a bike shortage. No, you can't buy it, but we know where you live because you live right there. And so, so I'm riding this bike, and I'm like, you know, this is a pretty fancy bike. I don't really know how to use the gears. And so I hire a bike instructor to help me, you know, figure out all the gears and how to like maximize their usage and blah, blah, blah. And we end up being really good friends. And then people are asking me, you know, what bike are you riding? You look to be my size and I want to ride a bike too. And I'm like, this is a Salsa Cycles. A couple of weeks later, hey, from Salsa Cycles. Do you want to, do you need a bike partner? Do I need a bike partner? What? So then they send me 4 bikes. I now have
awesome.
8 bikes. I had 10, but I have given 2 of them away. I have 8 bikes. My sponsorship with Salsa Cycles just ended actually last month. And, time for new things and whatnot, and new people. And, but that has been also a joy in my life, being able to move my body in a different way, but at the same level of intensity as I was running. And so I actually started healing more quickly. And now I'm a cyclist. Now I get to do races and meet different people in the cycling space. And that's really cool. And it really has given me another kind of joy. And I was spiraling into a depression because I couldn't run because, my whole identity was tied around running, and I couldn't run, and my body felt bad. And, but here comes cycling, and here comes this other person. Max is my cycling buddy now, not my instructor anymore, but, now I have this great friendship with this person who also needed friendship at the time. And that's what doing sports has got me. It's got me this great community of friends. And then, when someone heard I was moving to Vermont, they sent me some Dion snowshoes. And I'm like, what am I going to do with these? They're like, use them because you'll need them.
You will need them.
That's awesome.
And they were running snowshoes, and I didn't even know that they were running snowshoes. And so that's another sport that I don't do it a lot. Maybe once a year. But it's cool. It's a different way of moving your body from point A to point B. And and then the ski story is very funny. I'm sitting at my computer. It's 2020. I probably don't have any pants on, and I get this email from a woman.
Hell yeah.
Who and her name is Jen Gurecki, and she is the owner of Coalition Snow is the company. And she says, "Hey, I just came back from Outdoor Retailer, and your poster is everywhere. There are posters of you everywhere. You're trail running, you're cycling, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're speaking. Who are you? I want you on my skis." And I'm like, funny story. The last time I skied, I had to be carted off Mountain Creek by ski patrol in a snowmobile. And she's like, that's a great story. I still want you on my skis. How much do I need to pay you? And I'm like, oh, we're talking money now. Okay, so this is what we're going to do.
Now that you say that, I could ski.
And so I was like, you send me to skis. You get me a season pass to my local mountain, which was Bolton. I had only ever taken a snowboard lesson, and I discovered that wasn't my sport. My thumbs didn't like it. My wrists didn't like it. And so I said, but I had a good time at the lesson. So give me a season pass to there. Pay for my lessons every week, and I will story my learning. This is the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021. And so, and I'm still coming out of recovery from my meniscus surgery. And and this might sound racist, but I was like, I don't want no little kid, teaching me. I want an old white guy. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Teaching me. And so, because that was my frame of reference for skiing. It was like old white guys, right? And so I get to Bolton, and this ski instructor, his name is actually Guy. He's been my ski instructor until today. And
Perfect.
I again have
is
developed
Guy.
this amazing relationship with him. I'm taking him to Chamonix next year because, he has, again, this relationship and the way that he has taught me how to ski. And I've learned everything I know about skiing from him. And he'd never been skiing in Europe. I'm like, hey, can I take you to Chamonix next year? And so that's what I'm doing. I take my running coach to Chamonix every year for trail running. And so I have been given so much in my own life, and the only right thing to do is to pay it forward. And I take people out on trail running trips. Part of my contract with Lululemon is for me to be able to give grants to people so that they can participate in my very highly priced events in Europe, here in Vermont. I'm not in Vermont now, right now, but like in Vermont or wherever I hold an event, so that I can do the work of bringing more people into the sports, especially people who don't necessarily have access, whether it be financial or just like, you know, their regional background, wherever they're from, wherever they live, whether it's transportation. I want to make sure that I'm doing the work of bringing people into these various sports so that they can experience the same kind of joy that I do.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I
So
think this
cool.
is a good segue into our So New England segment. So since you have moved here, I would love to know your experience. Have you been to all the 6 states here in New England? I'm gonna go on a limb and assume obviously Vermont, and Connecticut.
Yes.
But have you made your way to like Rhode Island, Mass at all?
Yeah.
All those,
I've
you've been to all the states?
all the states. I
love it.
I spent a lot of time in Maine. I drive through Mass. When I'm going back home to Brooklyn. And you know, I do a lot of
Home to
speaking
Vermont.
all over. So
Home to Vermont.
my original home in Brooklyn,
Your
where my
birthing
family
place
is, and then my
Brooklyn.
yes, my birthing place. Yeah, I've spoken in all of those states, and then I do a lot of work up in Maine. I did some tourism work with the state of Maine, and now I go there, you know, 3 times a year for vacation. I'm bringing my family next time, and I obviously spent a lot of time in doing things in Boston. The one state that I have not spent a whole lot of time in is Rhode Island.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know. Maybe
Probably.
it is.
If you
I don't
like
know.
us, that means you haven't spent a lot of time here. So that's a good thing. We also don't have any mountains, so we don't really have a lot to offer. Run clubs have become a big hit
beach.
around here. So, but we have the beach. We do have the beach,
Yeah,
although
beach
I would
and
argue
wine.
that.
That's all I need.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right. So,
For sure.
with that being said, do you think that you could possibly rank from least favorite to most favorite states in New England? 6 being, the least favorite, and 1 being the favorite.
6 being Connecticut.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Just because of the drivers.
Vin, clip that. I need that for a friend.
And okay. So we have. Okay, so Vermont's going to be my number 1. Maine is going to be my number 2. Mass is going to be my number 3. Who am I missing?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Oh, wait, hold up. I forgot.
Yeah,
New
there we
Hampshire.
go. I knew New Hampshire should be up there.
Okay, so Connecticut. Rhode Island, only because I don't really know it.
No, it's all right. It's okay.
Then New Hampshire, Mass, Maine, Vermont.
Okay.
It's a good list. It's a good
It's
list.
a very good list.
It's a good list.
How about
And
sports? Have you gotten into sports since you've been here? Sports teams?
You know, and I should be better at
Just
this
tell me that
because
you're,
my-
if you're not a sports fan, that's good. I just don't want you to tell me that you don't watch sports, but you still root for New York. That one would hurt. That's what you're going to say. That pause makes me nervous.
And that's the podcast, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the certain.
No, I'm not going to tell that story never because people are going to hate me. Never mind. So, I only know the three teams. I know the Celtics, the Sox, and the Patriots.
Awesome. Only team you're missing is the Bruins for hockey. So.
Oh yeah.
That's all right.
Because I was like, is it the Islanders? I'm like, no. That's New York.
That's okay. Listen, again, the small victory here is that you didn't say that you still prefer New York sports. And if you do, we're just going to pretend you aren't saying that, and we'll move on
keep
from
my
it.
mouth shut. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
There's AI for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll just fix it. Easy fix.
All right. So you are well-traveled as well. So I'm curious, if you had the ability to bring another state, another country or just another city to join you like right up, we'll put it right next to Vermont so that you can have Vermont and the best of this area as well, what would you add to New England?
Obviously New York. I mean, like, there's no other, like, if I could like actually go to a store after 8 p.m. at night, no,
That's
after 3 p.m.
yeah.
If I could get
sounds about
coffee
right.
after 1 p.m., that's, it's the convenience. It's a convenience thing and like the availability of different kinds of foods and stuff. That's all I'm missing. But, unless I'm in Boston, but
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
Vermont is a very
that's it.
slow pace of life, right? Doesn't have a lot of those extracurricular things past certain times.
Right, exactly. Extracurricular being like the supermarket.
Yes. I say extracurricular, but we're talking about necessities here. I can't get food and water past 3 o'clock, folks. That's not,
What do
come
you
on,
do
Vermont.
Saturday night? Go to the
We gotta be a little bit
grocery
better
store
than
with
that.
everybody else.
They just anticipate that you are backpacking everywhere you're going and you've always got, like a little boil with you and those little instant boils and the, ramens
that
and the
tracks.
instant foods.
That
and,
absolutely tracks.
So since being here, would you say that there's something that you have not enjoyed about the New England culture or the New England way of living that you're like, oh man, they're just not getting this right? Well, I guess we kind of just said it with that, but if you have another one.
Really, that's the main, okay, actually there's that. And there's also that like in Vermont specifically, the availability of a lot of different kinds of housing for all the people that live there. One of the issues is that, Vermont doesn't have enough people to sustain its economy. And they're looking for, I've done some speaking and stuff at conferences, and I've learned a lot about like population density and all that stuff. And it doesn't have the amount of people to sustain the state. And so, we need like 200,000 more people to move in, but it's very hard for young people. I'm thinking like younger millennials and Gen Z people, because there's no housing and the jobs don't pay enough. So like, that's the thing. That's my point of contention for like any sort of rural area in New England. And I hope that gets better because it's I love it. Like if you like the cold and if you like not having to smile at people all the time and not having to engage in like stupid, what's that, the conversations that we have in like elevators and stuff like that. Small talk.
Yeah, small talk. Yeah.
Like, and people are just real. Like I love that. But people are kind. They're not mean, but they're not bullshitting you. I love that.
Yes.
About
They're
New
just
England.
within themselves. They're not about your
Yes.
business. They're just
And
on their own life.
Exactly. And they're hardy. They're nosy, but like in a different way. They're not like going to be nosy like the people down south are, but like they're just nosy in a different way. And they're very helpful. Helpful and wonderful people that are community minded, but also keep to themselves as well. And I kind of like that balance. I really love that.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. That's actually probably the most professional answer we've ever got to that question. Most people are like, the beaches suck. The food's not good. You gave like a heartfelt, true answer where it's like, we just want more people here so we can sustain this beautiful place. Like, that's a great answer.
Yes.
Now, when you moved here, was there any New England foods you hadn't tried before and things that you have like become accustomed to that you really enjoy now?
I do not put regular sugar in my coffee anymore because like, why would I when there's maple?
Yes.
And I got
Yes.
my own
I
maple.
put
I
maple
got a
syrup in my
maple
coffee
guy.
every morning.
I got a maple guy. I got a place where I go to get my, my cheese and my bread. And like, I love that. I love that about Vermont. Like,
That's so great.
That's how you
And
know
my
you made it in your Vermont. You got a maple guy and a cheese guy. It's
so funny because my
you're the
maple guy is
1%
like,
up there.
my guy's like, meet me in the parking lot over here. And then he gives me like,
He's giving you blocks of cheese. That right
Like,
there
is this
is
a drug deal?
that right there is why we have a podcast called So New England, because only in Vermont is your dealer for cheese and bread and eggs and nice good fresh Vermont maple syrup in the parking lot of what is
Exactly.
it? Is it like a Duluth or is it what's the other one that's out there? I don't know what the an LL Bean.
The Abushan hardware parking lot.
I love it.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely amazing. All right. Do you have a favorite city or town or mountain that you hike? Like what's your favorite spot in
my
Vermont?
God.
Because you did come in hot saying that there's an official capital. I'd like to hear what that's about. Because I don't know the beef with the capital thing.
No, I mean, I love the capital. It's very, they call it Montpelier sometimes, instead of Montpelier. I love the capital, but I really, one of my favorite mountains is Hunger Mountain, because that's the first one I summited in Vermont, and it has a very special meaning and significance to me, because like that, that was one of the places I was like, I really love it here, and
Oh, I love that.
that's one of my favorite places to be. And well, like I've hiked it in the summer, I've hiked it in the winter, and in the summer with winds, like and it's like 30 degrees. Yeah, like that's what I love about New England. Um, and I do also love the mountains. I love the White Mountains in New Hampshire as well. But I don't spend enough time there. And sometimes actually I don't feel safe in New Hampshire. So I don't go there alone. And my favorite, I really love Maine. I love Maine so much. If I couldn't live in Vermont, I would be in Maine. I love Bar Harbor. I would live there all year. Even when the people
Beautiful
are gone.
area.
I've spent a lot of time there, and I love it. And I love lobster. So
Oh yeah.
here we are.
Love it. I love it. We love a good lobster. So that's the one that you started eating quite a bit once you got there, was the lobster.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, lobster. Yeah, lobster and maple syrup and blueberries.
Not
together, I hope.
as a
Not
combo,
new,
I hope.
that's Yeah, not no, new
that
to
would
me.
be a
Yeah.
hot take first.
Yeah.
Myrna's out here eating lobster covered in Vermont maple syrup and a slug of
I don't-
cheese before she
I do
summoned his
not
Mount
put
Hunger,
it past
guys.
these people to mix those things up and call it a meal. Like,
I'm not
That's
gonna
it.
lie.
You never know what we're gonna do. Wash it down with a nice coffee, and we'll call it a day right there. That's how
I'm
New
not gonna
Englanders
lie.
get it done.
I think I would
Something
try it.
something I want to try is Moxie.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yes.
give it a whirl,
The
you'll love
whole Donnie Pelletier thing. Like,
Yeah, those are delicious.
I've never tried it, so like maybe that's the next thing I try.
That'd be
Awesome.
great.
That's a video in and of itself. People
Yeah,
are gonna
for
love to
real.
see you
They're
trying
gonna
that.
love that. If there was,
And I find it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, RJ.
no, go ahead, Ian.
I find it quite funny that your gripe with Vermont is that the grocery stores are not open past 3:00, and the first mountain you summited that you love the most is called Mount Hunger. That's quite funny.
There you go. Oh, you know what? You're
That
good.
is a full circle moment. They're like, if you're going to hike this place, but when you're done, the grocery store is not going to be open.
Yep.
Let's call it Mount
And it's-
Hunger.
and it's
And
a
that's
real
Catch
about
thing.
something
the-
while you're out there.
That is about the brain power of New Englanders when we moved here and we started naming shit. That right there. They're like, well, I'm pretty hungry. Mount Hunger.
That's good.
Oh my goodness.
If there was one piece of advice to give to somebody, and this is probably one of those cliche questions you get asked a lot, that's like just right there on the cusp, like to go for a run, to get on a bike, to go for a swim, to go for a hike, whatever it is, what would you tell them?
You do not have to wait for anybody to start doing what you want for yourself. You don't have to wait to be lighter. You don't have to, you're not getting any younger, so you can't wait to get any younger. We're all getting older. So there's, life is short. Life is short. We have to take life by the reins and go do the things that we want to do and that we need to do for ourselves, for our sanity, for our physical health, for our mental health. Because I think it's really the only way to do things. Like, don't wait for people. Don't wait for what you think the right moment is. Just go do it. As Nike says, just do it.
Yeah,
I'm not
Beautiful.
sponsored by Nike, by the
Great
way.
piece.
Yeah. Beautifully said, Myrna. All right.
Great advice.
Where can everybody find you online if they want to hire you for public speaking, they want to get involved with some running, and they just want to follow along with your journey? Where can everyone get a hold of you?
I am primarily at the Motivator on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but I'm not going to accept your friend request. Because, people are nuts.
Spoken like a
People
true
are
New
nuts.
Englander with
People
a
are
little bit
nuts.
of New York sass.
Follow me on Instagram. That's where all the craziness is.
It's fantastic. All right. Well, this was such a special episode for us. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your story and telling us all the tips and tricks we all need to avoid grocery stores and how to go hungry on a mountain. It's fantastic.
Yes.
All right,
I
folks,
love
that's
it.
going to conclude episode 79 of the So New England podcast. Please try and remember, folks, life's better in New England.
Red Sox crack and the Celtics fly. Patriots fight and the Bruins grind.